Hey, what's up, guys? And yes, the final episode of What If Naruto was sent to a parallel multiverse. I just want to thank you all for sticking around with this series. The likes, the comments, the shares, it's been amazing, guys. Thank you for everything so far. But as you know, new series are coming up soon for you guys to enjoy, so just sit back, relax, and yeah, enjoy. And also, if you're new to this channel, yes guys, I have 3 channels. Anime King, Anime King 2, and Making 3. Which I post what you find every single day for you guys to enjoy. Yes, you heard that correctly, every single day. So go ahead and press that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And remember to turn on the bell notifications they posted to see exactly when I post. And yeah, without further ado, what do you say we start this new episode? Begin the intro. So the last part we left off, X's real name was Hanabi, as Minato had made sure that her son was on her side. It was just a ploy. Despite her being with Minato, it was just a ploy. Well, they went a bit too far and they had a kid, but still. It was a ploy for her to gain his complete trust. For him to give her information that he wouldn't give several other people in the village. After all, she was not on his side, she was not with the village. For years they have been planning this, them and the Uchihas. As Sahara was told everything Sahara, while her mind was full with a lot of information, she couldn't abandon her mother like that. It was then that she heard about Naruto and her mind was frozen. But Minato thought that Sahara was completely on her side. Minato on the other hand got news that the other nations were attacking. The villages that were supposed to be protected by Konoha and the Sand. Well, this is bad. It seems like another world war is about to break out, as the leaders are being controlled. But it was time. The Uchihas finally made their move. It started with civilians fighting civilians, causing panic and chaos, and then the Uchihas started to attack the fellow clans, stealing very valuable items from them. They tried to repel them, but the civilians got in their way. And the people of Konoha didn't want to kill their own civilians, so it was hard to fight them off. As Hanabi was confused by it all as a ruckus broke through in the village, as she was confused to what was going on. The Uzumaki clan welcomed Minato inside as they were unaware of what was going on as they put up the barriers. A moment, something started happening in the village, as they need to get information first. But it was then that Minato retaliated as she activated Susanoo. It was then that Izumi used her Mangetsu ability. She was able to create rifts. They had to be planted though, as Minato was the one that planted them. And with that she was able to cope in a rift that could send all the other Uchihas through. As they started to ransack the Uzumakis for their sealing items, as chaos and problems started until he arrived. Kushina was shocked, as she did not understand Minato was one of her closest friends, and yet here she was attacking them. As Menma and Mito was ready to fight, protect their mother, but Naruto arrived. Minato tried to stop him, but well, she paled in comparison to the power that he possessed. He then took Kushina as Menma and Mito shouted at him. He blasted them through the wall as he made his way. Minato tried to stop him, but Sahara saw him as she rushed towards him. She wanted answers, but Naruto also took her away as well as he sent her away somewhere unknown. It was then that he found himself towards the high compound as he went and took Hanabi away as well. As Hayashi and the others tried to stop him, but they paled in comparison. Minato finally revealed himself as Naruto explained to him that the Uchihas were planning to betray him from the beginning. And his son has betrayed him as well. Well, Hanabi, not Menma. So yeah, that was a big problem as Minato was the one leading this faction in Konoha. The man was shocked as he tried to prevent Naruto from leaving, but once again the difference in their power was shown to be quite great, as Naruto told him that he was not ready to fight him yet. He will meet him on the battlefield. After all, it was a world war. So with that, the Uchihas had moved off, leaving the village using Ayasumi ability, as she opened the rift as they made their way. Minato was angry that her daughter was taken away, but Aisuna told her that everything will be fine, they will get her back. She was also his family as well, every Uchiha was his family, but they will get her back. As of the moment though, Zetsu came back and told him that Nagato, Rinnegan was taken, so they didn't have what they needed to completely bond the Sharingans with the Mokigan cells to create the Rinnegans because they couldn't afford to waste too much time. They need to speed up the process. So they have to come up with another way. Well, Zetsu was a big key player in this, but they will find a way, as they will bring forward the strongest clan through the elemental nation, which was the Uchihas. Meanwhile, all the girls end up at the same point, as they saw she was there waiting for them, Katsumi. As Katsumi was just sitting there waiting for them. As they asked what was going on, it was then that Naruto finally showed up after a few seconds to explain everything to them, as they all turned to face him. So yeah guys, so basically that's what I thought. If you guys can switch across the place and check for yourself. So what do you say we begin this new, well, final episode? Let's get right into it, guys. The three women has never been so shocking their entire life, as Naruto told them everything. He told them who he really was, where he came from in his own time. As they sat down and listened, he told them not to interrupt him, and he would explain everything. So they did not, and they got the story of everything. Hanabi, who was completely out of the loop, was the most shocked because she never knew anything about this going on. So everything was just as a shock to her. As Sahara realized her mother was telling the truth, Kushina, her mind was going through a lot. With what happened with Minato and Mikoto right behind her back, it was painful and staggering, all this information. As Naruto was sitting down on a makeshift throne, with his hands resting on the armrests, as no one said anything after he finished. Their mind was still reeling with the information. He did not hide anything from them. He told them what happened to his world. He didn't see the point of hiding anything. It would be much more confusing because they would ask what happened to the world that he was from. And he was a person that did not like to sugarcoat things. The one to ask was Sahara. So what now, she said, as she looked at him. Are you gonna kill us all, she asked. Of course not, said Naruto. Why would he do that, said Katsumi. Unlike my previous world, said Naruto, this one's a lot better, and also, I'm not the really big bad here. The Uchihas are. A world war is about to start, said Naruto. I just brought you guys here to keep you safe, and also inform you about what is gonna happen. So you're gonna fight as well, Sahara asked. Yes, said Naruto. I'll indulge myself. What about my clan, she said. Are you gonna... No, said Naruto. I'm not gonna kill them. Then what are you gonna do? I have a plan for the future. Sorry. As much as I want to tell you, I can't tell you yet. So just bear with me, he told her. She went quiet after that, her mind still reeling. So much questions that she wanted to ask at once. The next one to speak was Hanabi, as she looked up towards his eyes. Do you actually care about me, she asked. Her tone sounded sad, as Naruto got up from his throne and walked over towards her. He stooped down as he looked her directly in the face. To tell you the truth, if this was the old me, I would say no. I would just use you for my own means, to have some fun. But somehow, you have wormed your way for me to hear about you. Not just you alone though, said Naruto. All three of you. I guess I'm changing. He really is, said Katsumi. Usually, he would just slaughter anyone in his path when he finds them boring. And not to be too harsh, but well, you guys are in the story, but you're not really a large part of it that much. You guys don't possess the power to fight him. And usually he slaughters people that are too weak. So you can get the drift. Well, you heard his story, so you understand that he cares about you three. And I don't want to see you guys die either, said Katsumi. Which is rare. Extremely rare for me, she said, as she leaned back in the chair. Kushina opened her mouth, but she closed it. As she opened it once again. So, you're my son. From another timeline. And you took over my son's body and absorbed him and became him. And yourself as well. Yeah, said Naruto. Exactly like that. And then you plotted all of this. You knew what was happening. You lied about everything. And then we're here now, she said. Yeah, basically, said Naruto. As Kushina just lowered her head. As she did not say another word. As Naruto watched the three of them, their mind, trying to grasp everything that he told them so far. It wasn't easy, after all. All this time, she said. As Naruto thought that she'd remain quiet for a while, but she spoke. Minato has been using me. Yes, said Naruto. Behind your back. But don't worry, I made up my mind. I'm gonna kill him, said Naruto. Kushina did not agree or oppose him as he said that. Besides, I don't really like him. I always hated him for stealing Katsumi and me. Back in my own timeline, but, well, as you can see, I came to care about her a lot. So, that's the only thing I can be grateful for, that he sealed her inside of me. But in a personal standing, I don't really care for him. Because if it was me, if it was someone I care about, I would let this entire world burn, said Naruto, as he got to his feet. That's just how I see things. He moved back toward his throne and sat down. Take all the time you need to collect your thoughts. I can see that you three need some time to think, said Naruto. His eyes swirled as the three of them were sucked away in a swirling vortex. They found themselves on a bed, in a strange room as they didn't know exactly where they were. But neither of them were trying to escape or anything. Their mind was just trying to process everything that happened so far. Meanwhile, at Konoha, damn it! Menma slammed his face into the wall. He took her. As Mito was trying to calm him down, but she was also pissed off. We will get her back, said Minato. As there were a lot of things that he hadn't told his children yet, but right now we need to focus. Whoever that person is that is claiming to be my son, he's not. But he will not hurt Kushina. How do you know that, said Menma. How do you know what he has planned for her? I just know, alright, said Minato. He calmed himself. I'm sorry, he said. As there was so much happening and Minato was never one to really release his emotions, but there was a lot going on, angering him. He's not gonna hurt her. He told me himself. But he's up to something, but he will not hurt any of them. But for right now, we need to focus on what is more important. Mito looked at him. What is more important? Yes, because he's not gonna hurt her. Right now, we're in the midst of a looming war. And if we're not prepared, Konoha and everyone here can die. So I need to get my mind straight, said Minato. As he spoke to his children. As they were worried about their mother being kidnapped, but Minato knew that Naruto would not hurt her. I have to go, he said. Can you two get everything under control here? Yeah. I am the clan leader after all, said Menma. I'll handle it. Thanks, said Minato as he flashed away. He appeared towards his office as he made his way. The moment he stepped in the council chambers, there was a lot of talking. Alright, settle down everyone, he said, calming them. We don't have time to waste. Let's get to the main topic of hand. The Uchihas has betrayed us. As many people in the room were pissed off and angry. I know that they attack your clans, your homes. They will get what is coming to them, but first, war is on the horizon. Several villages that Konoha is allied with have been attacked. And they are slowly being overwhelmed. Their lands are being conquered by the three other nations. This is something we cannot allow to happen. As of this moment, the other nations have not turned their sights on Konoha or the Sun yet. But they will soon, so that is why we need to calm our mind and create a proper plan of strategy so that we can handle this. Alright, he said. We will get to the Uchihas in a moment. As everyone nodded, the risk of their home being attacked and destroyed was worse than the Uchihas, even though they should be punished. As Minato started to speak to each of them about what is about to happen, they had to get in contact with the Sand for their aid, as not just them were going to be wiped out, the two of them were, and the three other nations were going to take front and center. And not to mention the problem of Naruto. Damn it. There was just so much going on. Later that night, Kushina pulled herself out of bed. There was a bathroom in her room. She didn't exactly know what the hell. Where was she, but the room was large. A nice king-size bed was inside. Really comfortable. There was a dresser, a closet. There was a work study with books on shelves. She had gotten up to the bathroom, that was the only thing that she did. Food had been brought to her by something she did not know what it was. It had two eyes though, but its body was shaped like a crab, but it had human arm. She barely ate anything even though her stomach was rumbling. Her mind was just trying to process everything that happened so far. She was a mess of emotions right now. She stepped out to clear her mind as she realized she was in a long, spiraling hallway. She calmly followed the hallway. It was large. As she finally arrived towards two massive doors, as she could see that they were glass. So she opened them and stepped towards the balcony. Her eyes widened as Kushina couldn't believe what she was seeing. She stood on a balcony. She was in mid-air. As she looked around, a larger view showed that she was standing on a hovering land. As they were in mid-air, the wind whipping about. Yet the land was protected. The wind outside was blowing, but the land was calm and filtered. She didn't understand how this was even possible. She couldn't even see the ground down below. It was so far. It was then that she heard footsteps, as she turned to see Katsumi, the woman that she thought was one of her closest friends. Well, she didn't know anymore. As Katsumi stood beside her, "It's an amazing sight, isn't it?" said Katsumi. "What do you want?" Kushina said. Still pissed, huh?" Kushina turned towards her. She was about to shout, but she just calmed down. "Come on, let out that anger. You can't just keep it bottled up. You might go mad." "Anger? On what?" "The fact that my own husband has been sleeping around with one of my closest friends. Well, I thought she was my friend. Or the fact that my son, well, the person I thought that was my son, is actually my son but from a different time, who took over my son, so in a sense he is, but I just don't know how to feel about all of that. What should I be angry at? Go ahead, tell me," said Kushina. "Everything. If I was you, I would be rather frustrated. I would probably level a mountain or something. Or maybe a nearby village. But we're two different people, so you must have a way of coping." "Yeah, you're right," said Kushina. She turned and punched Katsumi right in the face. As Katsumi looked at her, as she held her face. "Punching me? Fighting? Well, you are Uzumaki," said Katsumi as she moved and punched Kushina right in the stomach, only for the woman to step back. She frowned as a chain shot from her palm. Katsumi twirled her in the chain and kicked her in the stomach as Kushina was sent sailing. Luckily she stopped herself though and rushed forward as she attacked. Just like that they fought. They fought for a long period of time, as they did not stop fighting until Kushina was dead tired. As Kushina was breathing rather heavily, as Katsumi stood right behind her. "Now that's what I'm talking about," said Katsumi as she grabbed her around the waist before lifting her and throwing her right off the edge. Kushina's eyes went wide as a chain shot from her palms and gripped onto the railing. As she used to pull herself up. "Are you crazy?" she yelled. asked Katsumi chuckle. Well, it seems like you want to live. Of course I want to live. Well, I was just making sure. In these stressful times, perhaps you'd have wanted to just die and give up. I had to make sure. Don't worry. I would have catch you. Catch me? Said Kushina as she looked down. I would have fallen to my death. Come on. It's me. You, yeah. You're... As Kushina calmed down. You used to be a tail beast. So... I don't even know the limits of your power. As she then sat down. A deep breath and release. The situation is quite a lot, but don't worry. Everything's gonna be sorted out very soon. What about my other children? She said. I do not want them to die. Don't worry. Naruto is not gonna kill them. As I said, he's changed. Konoha is not on the chopping block. And besides, he actually liked them. They're not that bad, even though they don't know everything. As Kushina sighed, she just leaned back. Thanks for that, she said. Huh? For letting me punch you every now and then. I knew that you could have blocked or dodged. A good workout for you, said Katsumi. As I said, Kushina, I like you. You become one of my friends. And I never really had friends before. Never thought I needed any. Only person I ever needed was Naruto, but... Well, you're not that bad. Meanwhile, as Naruto was currently sitting on his throne, when he saw Hanabi walk up to him, as she was just looking at him, she had been standing there for a few seconds now. There was no word that came from her mouth. As she just watched him, as she walked over and stood at just a few feet away from him. Are you gonna say something? Said Naruto. After you took over the Naruto of this timeline body, you were the one that told me that you loved me and how much you cared about me. Yet, you were with Sahara behind my back, and not to mention your other friend Katsumi. Katsumi is a different story, said Naruto. She's been with me since day one. I care about her a lot. Sahara. She has grown rather attached to me. It seems like she has somehow imprinted on me when her father had died. That night it was a rather shocking development for her. And me being there as her closest friend. Allow us to grow a bond. And I guess this body cares about her a lot. But I find myself caring about her as well. But you on the other hand, well, the emotion's there. I was not lying, said Naruto. As I said, this entire timeline has changed me into someone I don't recognize that much. But it is what I am right now, said Naruto. So, everything that you said, what was it? A lie? I meant every single word. Hanabi came over as she sat down, right beside his throne. So what now? She said. All of this is a lot. I mean, it's just so much. Who would have thought that things like this are even possible? But if I hadn't seen everything with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe it. So what now? How is everything gonna... Konoha will remain standing, said Naruto. Before Tokage has to die though. He is a person that will not listen to my ideals. I can see that already. Do you plan to conquer the world? She asks. Not the entire world, but in a sense. I'm powerful enough to let them stop the fighting. Then what? She asks. Then... Well, there's more things after that, but we're not ready for that yet, said Naruto. How do you expect me to feel, she said, after everything? Angry? Pissed off? Perhaps wanted to kill me? A dark thought must have passed your mind when you heard me saying everything about Sahara and Katsumi. You're right, she said. So much. Yeah, I would have feel the same way, said Naruto. Yet you're so nonchalant about it, she said. The feeling of being angry has been driven out of me a long time ago. It was when I first destroyed the real Konoha in my own time. I realized that it was pointless to hold on to such grudge. And I just started to do things for fun. You say these things, yet you say them so calm. And yet they sound so evil and wicked, she said. I never claimed to be a good person, said Naruto. Look, the option is up to you. As I said, I care about you, so I'm not gonna force you to do anything. Which I can, he said. You, what? Oh yeah. I can completely rewrite your mind. Why are you telling me this? I'm just showing you what I can do, he said. But I would never do that on you. Some way, somehow, despite me being against it, you have warmed your way in my heart. Katsumi was the only one I actually cared about in the beginning, but now, here I am. Feeling so much strong feelings for you. It's almost like I love you, he said, as he leaned back in his throne. Yeah, I am really changing. She looked towards him. You've told me that before, but yet, you've never said it. What do you mean? Said Naruto. There's a difference way between the way you said I love you back then to the way you say it now. It's like you're surprised. As I said Naruto, this has never happened to me before. Just with Katsumi, but now, with these new world, these new feelings. Well, me and the Naruto that was in this world became one. It's like I'm him same way, but I just have my memories and my powers. So yeah, the feelings are still there. I need some more time to think this over, she said. As I said, you can take as much time as you want. She nodded as she left. As Naruto had sent Kushina outside with Katsumi. Yet, Sahara didn't come out of her room. So he made his way. Naruto had built this place in a 3-year time gap. After all, compared to the rest of them, he was a god, he should be above them. That was his arrogant side talking, but it was true. As he made his way, he knocked on the door. It took a few seconds to come in. As Naruto entered, Asahara was sitting there. I don't want my mother to die, she said. Nor Itachi. Nor my new brother Hanabi. As Naruto placed a hand to his chin, you know, now that I think about it, with Hanabi being your brother, and I'm basically connected to Minato in a way, well, even though I'm not his actual son, but still, that kind of almost make us step siblings, said Naruto. Know that you say it out loud. Yes, you're correct, she said. The more kinkier the better, he said, with a smirk on his face. You find this funny, she said. Yeah, I kinda do, he said, as he sat down in the bed. As she chuckled a bit. You seem calmer than the others, he said to her. As she looked towards him. I love you, she said. I've told you that before. But I love my mother as well. And Itachi, they're my family. And I don't want them to die. I know that you have the power to stop them without killing them. What about the whole me being another person from a different timeline thing, said Naruto. I remember the exact day. I knew that something was up and you have changed, but the you that told me you loved me and cared about me. The you that kissed me. The you that took my first time. That you was the one I started to experience feelings of love for. The other one, he was just my childhood friend. But he's part of you same way. I'm upset that you didn't tell me any of this. I'm angry at you. To the point I want to fight you and attack you, but you're so much stronger than me, but it doesn't matter. But there's just a lot going through my mind right now. But still, promise me that it will be alright. If you let them die, I will never forgive you, she said. As Naruto came over, as he placed a hand on her head, I promise, he said. I have a word to pick with my mother as well. My father was blamed for going mad and killing the clan. As Sahara clenched her fists. It's gonna be alright, said Naruto. You'll have plenty of time to talk with her. Time skip. 3 weeks later. 3 weeks has passed since everything happened. As everything was ready, the big showdown, the fourth great shinobi war. Thousands of ninjas from each nation were gathered. As they were deployed in different areas. Lands have been taken. Several villages that were allied with Konoha and the Sand had been taken complete control over, gaining the 3 enemy nations more territory on Konoha and the Sand. This was gonna be a hard push. For the Konoha ninjas and the Santokumoto on top, ninjas have been deployed almost everywhere, as there was rumors going around about the Uchihas, several rumors about Naruto as well. The Hidden Rain and several other villages were out of this, but the thing was, the Hidden Rain was once used as a battlefield, and at the moment it seemed like it was gonna happen again. After all, the stone and Kumo had to go through so they could attack the Konoha shinobi. It was the best possible route, because if they went around, well, they will lose too much of their secrecy, because they would charge straight in. They need the cover of circling Konoha. At the moment, Nagato was furious. Ninjas were gathering at his border. The power that he once held, he no longer held it. As he was angry, he needed to protect his family. As Konan landed beside him, they had brought up what defenses they could, but still the might of 3 nations would be too much for them. Before she could say a word though, someone appeared overhead. As Naruto slowly descended, "You're here," said Nagato, looking at him surprised. "I couldn't allow Zetsu to take your eyes while you and use your body to create the other renegades. I wanted to buy some more time, but I can't allow them to use your village as a stomping ground. So I'll help you out," said Naruto as he slammed both hands together. Truth-seeking balls four of them appeared and span far out before they spread and created a black, see-through haze as it surrounded the entire village. "What is that?" said Nagato. "Something that will allow your shinobis. Come with me," said Naruto. "Let me just show you." As they made their way towards the border, arriving there, they saw the horde of shinobis. Naruto paid them no mind, as they looked on with curiosity. "Step through," said Naruto. Nagato stepped through as he was able to. As he stepped back inside, "I don't understand," he said. Konan spoke. "Won't they be able to get through as well?" As Naruto disappeared, he then reappeared with a stone shinobi trying to get free from his grasp. "Be quiet," said Naruto as he flicked the man in the forehead, knocking him out. He then tried to push the man inside, but the barrier would not let him. As Naruto continued to push, until the barrier decided to retaliate. A burst of energy came out of it and turned the man into dust, showing all the other ninjas as he looked on with shock. "Come," said Naruto. With a single wave of his hand, plenty of shinobis were dragged towards the barrier, screaming in fright as their bodies were destroyed the moment their bodies tried to forcefully enter. "Only Hidden Rain citizens can enter and exit," said Naruto. "The rest of them cannot." "Well, I myself can enter as well," said Naruto. "Once this is all over, I'll drop this," he said, "so you can return back to your normal way of living." "Well, I have to go now," said Naruto. Plenty to do, as he vanished. As Nagato stood there completely shocked, ninjas started to hurl jutsus towards the barrier, but it swallowed it. It then started to hurl back those jutsus with so much more force as bodies were being blown away and destroyed. Konan couldn't believe what she was seeing. "This power," she said. "How could someone do this so easily and yet look so unaffected by it? Like it cost him nothing to create this massive barrier." Nagato, on the other hand, didn't want this to go down. This would be the perfect way of protecting his village. He would have to speak more to Naruto about this, as he still could not believe that this all happened. But he didn't want his village to be caught up in the war. It was not for him. And Naruto was a person that he thought he could become, but his power far surpassed his. Time skip. The war started as chaos started to brew throughout the nations. Guerrilla attacks were being sent, bombing and running back to their own posts. Meanwhile, that was all going on, Minato was currently walking through the halls. As she arriving towards the room, "Is it done?" she asked. Her brother stood there. "Yes." He turned towards her and his eyes no longer show the normal Mongityu or the Eternal. They show a fresh pair of renegades. Minato showing the same as well. It was not just her alone. It was all the Uchihas that were there. The last one got his eyes reimplanted. The process had took a week and a few days. But they had helped though. Snarly of the Senju, being controlled by Shisui's Sharingan to see that this was the best way to help them. As Jiraiya was the one that brought her here, who was being controlled as well. Two of the mighty Sanins of the Hidden Leaf were here being used to help the Uchihas. Snarly expert medical tease upon fusing the blood cells of the eyes together. The Senju DNA and the Uchiha DNA, not to mention with some of Zetsu's DNA as well. He was made from Kaguya after all. So he was a big help in this. And a lot more. A few Fuinjutsu here and there. They were able to completely skip the long time waiting process. As the Uchihas were reborn as the servants of their queen Kaguya Otsutsuki, they had all the tail pieces. As it was time. The war was at its peak. It was time for them to subjugate the entire world under the banner of the Uchihas, and no one will stop them. As the war raged on, ninjas dying one after another. There was no tail pieces being used after all. The power fluctuation was not that out of balance. Not to mention Konoha shinobis were just that much more powerful. The Uchihas. Yes, they had a clutch on leaving, but still. The village of the Hidden Leaf had the Uzumakis, the Inuzakas, the Hyugas. Several other prominent clans that started to wreak havoc upon the battlefield. Several of Naruto's old classmates started to wreak havoc everywhere. The both of them made their way down the massive hall, arriving towards the room. Seals that they stolen from the Uzumaki, powerfully enough to contain the 10 tails itself as it was in the process of being revived. They had fed it the final tail beast 7 tails. To bring the beast back, no one would even know that there was anything going on because the seals that they stolen had kept it well in check. It had also slowed down the process a bit because they want the war to reach the peak when the entire world was greeted by their queen. But the process coming along nicely as the 7 tails was already absorbed into the ghetto statue. The thing was in the process of changing and becoming what it was. Minato stood there, but she didn't look all that happy. Don't worry, we will get her back, Aizen said, as they were speaking about none other than Sahara, her daughter. As she wanted their daughter at her side, she wanted all her kids at her side. They have been waiting for this day, planning for this for years now. She didn't want any setbacks. Zetsu came from the ground so far. He has not shown himself. Anywhere else but the Hidden Rain, he had protected them. Allowing their Stone Shinobis and Kumo Shinobis to take a different route, which is making them lose a lot more forces because they're right out in the open. But he hasn't shown himself other than that. The problem was Naruto. If he was to get involved right now, well, things would be bad, but the Uchihas had a lot of members, and each of those members possessed a Rinnegan. So they were confident enough that they could take him down. While he was powerful with those eyes of his, they were all up another level, and they would not fall to him this time. Meanwhile, Jiraiya and Snarly were currently unconscious in a room, as the both of them had been working tirelessly to help with the creation of the Rennegans. Jiraiya supplying chocolate to Snarly to aid her in her conquest. The both of them really believed that this was the right thing to do. That was when someone appeared in the room. As the both of them were unconscious, Naruto appeared and touched them on their forehead, completely destroying the link that Shisui had on them. He then picked both of them up. He then vanished, like he was never there, no one the wiser. Time skip. Minato was currently on the battlefield. A horde of stone shinobis had tried to bomb rush Taki, which was allied with Konoha, so he had to arrive himself and annihilate them. Followed by special ops. With X now gone, he was the one that was giving them order. They were able to go deep in the enemy territory and wreak havoc. As Minato got the information that the enemy was coming at full force, their act of plan was rather stupid. He didn't know what was going through their mind, they were just wasting shinobis, tossing ninjas after ninjas at him. Yes, he did not possess unlimited chakra, but that doesn't mean that he will be defeated that easily. And with his Hiroshin, the man moved as he split the army. He was like a blur. Kunais were tossed from his support behind him as he caught those kunais and decimate hundreds in minutes. Ninjas were falling from left to right as the Yellow Flash was showing his power to the world, slaughtering ninjas after ninjas. But something was wrong. This tactic, them just attacking this wildly, didn't make sense. They were up to something. Lightning Blade, Kakashi over to his side, releases Lightning Blade over as he started to stab through shinobis. Many of them are rushing the field as everyone started to clash against the enemy forces. Sand ninjas and Konoha ninjas working as one. The battlefield was ransacked with shinobis as Minato was cutting them down. That is when they show themselves. The three Kages. No, that was a surprise. He didn't expect them to show themselves so soon. I see the battlefield is quite full, said the right Kage as he glanced around. Mito was surprised, as she didn't expect the Kages to show up so quickly, as she stood by Menma and the rest of the Uzumakis. The Uzumakis with their foreign jutsu had been a big help in this war, as they were quite destructive with their art. Minato stood at the head of his army, as he looked towards the three opposing Kages. You three started something that you will not be able to finish. I assure you, he said. You don't know what you're talking about, said Unki. For too long, Konoha has always tried to prove that it was number one. But here today as we stand, we're going to show you all that Konoha is nothing. We will wipe your entire village off the map. Starting here first. Once we take Take, Konoha is next. Well then, said Minato. The only way for that to happen is over my corpse. The Raikage chuckled at that. Well then, fastest man alive, he said, with a mocking tone. Why don't we make that dream a reality? He didn't move. Speed bursting through the area, lightning covering him. Minato threw his kunai, but a massive beam of particle style destroyed everything in his wake, completely annihilating it. The right Kage flashed behind him and threw a fist. Minato ducked as the fist passed over him, as Yagura twisted and threw his hook staff as it whipped through the air. It moved at unprecedented speeds, and yet Minato was able to react just in time and dodge, tilting his body as it hooked his shirt, but it didn't harm him though. He brought his leg up and slammed it in the right Kage's arms that he crossed like an X. As he placed his hand on the man's feet, he then flashed away. The right Kage turned to bolt off, but Minato appeared right in front of him. As he had marked his foot, a Rasengan in hand, he thrust it forward. The right Kage actually tanked the technique as he charged up. His body to 100%, he was blown back. But his arms are what suffered the most damage as smoke came from them. A bit of bruising, but his lightning was able to tank most of the technique. It is not going to be that easy, Yellow Flash. Today is the day that we bury you all. While this was going on, bodies and ninjas were being taken away by snakes that burst from the ground and dragged them underneath. As Urkai was not really working for Konoha anymore. She was just collecting future samples for herself. Not to mention she had her whole deal with Naruto once this war was over. So she was not really getting involved. She was just collecting a few specimens from the other villages. Some Yuki member, some Kaguya member. She was just collecting them all over the field while they were surprised and caught off guard. A massive explosion drew the attention of everyone as the war stopped right there and then. Almost everyone turned their head as the field showed there was a massive black portal. Several individuals stepping out of it. They were clad in a different clothing. It was white. Same for the guys and same for the women. It had the symbol of the rabbit goddess on it. Neatly fetched with the Uchiha symbol beneath that. And on the shoulder pads, on the arms as well. It was the Uchiha clan, clad in their new armor and outfits, as they step out as one. Brother and sister leading a group, Shisui not too far behind, Hanabi and Itachi as well. All of them were there. They turned their sights upon the group. Enough! The voice of Mikoto came out. It is time. The portal then closed behind them. "You," said Minato as he flashed directly towards her a few feet away. "What is all of this? Was it all a lie from the beginning?" he asked. "Yes, it was," she said with a straight face as he clenched his fists. "You betrayed us. Your home. Konoha is our home, yes. But we were supposed to be in control. I had to make sure you trust me, so I allowed myself to actually show some sort of care or resemblance for you. But I assure you I was always 100% with the mission. Although, this union of sorts had gave me something wonderful, and that is my son here. X. My name is not X. My name is Hanabi. You also betrayed me as well. You handed the seven tails over to them, didn't you? You never treated me like a real son. Just a mindless weapon for you to use." "I only serve mother," said Hanabi. Minato clenched his fist at that. "You all will pay for this," he said. "That's not gonna happen, Minato." "Who the hell are you?" said Minato as he turned towards. "Oh, me? Well, you've been with my little sister for some time now. I might as well introduce myself. My name is Aizuna." "Brother?" said Minato. "Yes. I didn't mention that, did I?" She said that smirk. "But I guess it's too late," she said. "This whole world is now the property of the Uchiha clan." "What?" Several responses were heard. "You heard us. This whole world. It all belongs to us. Everything, all of this was started by us." As Minato looked at her, remembering what Naruto said, "So, it's true. Yes, we've planned this for years now. And now everything is falling in place. And it's time," she said. "Open the portal." Upon saying that, a massive portal opened up far behind them. As everyone was alerted as they felt the force settle upon the area. The screaming Gedo statue. "What the hell is that?" many of the people said as they looked towards the monstrosity. "It's time," said Mikoto. A bright white light filled the entire place. The Uchihas then vanished. All of them just teleporting away. It was a seal that he stole from the Uzumaki that was placed on the Gedo statue. Upon doing so, they vanished away. The light took a while to cool, but once it did, weapons started to drop, kunai swords, as everyone was in shock. Some of them dropped into their knees as they saw a giant monstrosity. The thing was large. It had a massive eye. It had 10 tails waving behind it. People didn't know what to think or even say regarding this giant beast. Some of them had never even seen something that large before. Their mind unable to process what the hell was going on. All of the Uchihas were able to stand on the thing's back. That was just how large it was. At the head of this group though was the brother and sister duo as they stood there, their eyes looking down towards the people. As Mikoto sent chakra to her voice to enhance it. "This is a power that we now wield. As I said before, this world belonged to the Uchihas and our queen Kaguya Osusuke. What are we supposed to do?" Several voices could be heard said. Minato was at a loss. Out of everything, he never expected to face something like this. "Now that's where I come," into the voice. A portal opened up immediately. The Jube gaze snapped towards the person as it felt its own power but different inside of that being right there. As Naruto looked up towards it, I forgot how large you were. He really is big, isn't he? Said Katsumi. That he is, said Naruto. Naruto, said Minato. Not yet, said Naruto. Seems we have the big fish to deal with first. As Naruto smiled. Hello, Mikato. Aisuna. I saw that you guys got an upgrade. This is not gonna be like last time, said Aisuna. Let's kill him first. Wait, where's my daughter? Said Mikato. As Naruto pointed upwards. Everyone looked up to see a spear in the sky, and inside was the three women, safely tucked away inside, as they were just standing there watching everything below. Kushina called out Minato, but she refused to look at him. Damn it. What did you tell her? He asked as he looked towards Naruto. The truth. That you cheated on her. With one of her close friends. What? The voice of Mito and Minma said. And you had a son. Wait, what? They had heard what Mikato had said earlier, and that boy known as Hanabi, but it didn't make sense. Oh, there's a lot to explain, brother, sister. You. The both of them said, looking at him. I guess we're not at a battle right now, but me and you. I'm here for that thing over there. The Ten-Tail roared, releasing a cosmic explosion of energy, as that made Naruto hair flutter back as he smiled. That thing is large, said Hanabi, as the other two just nodded. As over the past weeks they had came to terms with what they both realized. Naruto was special to all of them. Yes, it seems crazy, but he was. After everything, he was special to all of them. He promised that he would not kill Sahara's mother, nor will he kill his siblings, so as long as he was able to keep them safe. They did not mind him ending this war, but he had plans for more than that, it seems. Allow us, one of the Uchiha said, as the two siblings looked behind them. This is a reason why we have gotten these powers, these eyes, so we can prove ourselves to Lady Kaguya. Allow us to get rid of this feeding before you summon our lady to this land. As all the Uchihas nodded, looking towards their two supporting leaders, Mikato and her brother looked at each other. Alright, they said. Take him down. The Ten-Tails lowered a tail, allowing all the Uchihas to climb down on it, as they marched forward in a group. As Naruto watched them with a smile on his face. And what's this? Some kind of retaliation against the Uchihas, he said. This is where you take your final breath, said Obito. Oh, is that so? Said Naruto. You know, former sensei, if you could have known the power I wield, you wouldn't be saying that. Enough of this talk. It is soon time for our mother to arrive. You being here is just an inconvenience, and we will purge you from this world. As Naruto chuckled a bit, he raised his hand as hundreds, maybe thousands of the people that surrounded him was blown away, just to create some breathing room. Katsumi looked towards him. Let me guess, she said. You want to do this by yourself? I know that you want to fight as well, said Naruto, but it's been so long since I fought. Someone really powerful. Well, they're not really powerful as one, but they're coming at me as a force. Can you please, he asked. Alright, fine, she said. But you owe me, okay? As Naruto nodded. With that, she vanished. She appeared in the barrier, the cube of sorts that was in mid-air. What are you doing? Said Kushina. Go help him. He's gonna be fine. Are you sure? Said Sahara, as there was a lot of them down there, and her clansmen. He said that he would not kill them. He's just looking for a good fight, I assure you. The opposing ninjas all stopped fighting as they were confused, as they were just standing there, the ones that were blown away picking themselves up. Said Naruto as he stretched his arms, as he took off the shirt that he was wearing, showing, as he was wearing nothing underneath that, the black markings on his skin that was now glowing and ominous dark. It seems like lines of power was just coursing through them. He cracked his neck. I've been looking forward to something like this. In the Uchiha's strength, is something that rival amongst everything else. Let me show you Uchihas what I can truly do. As the Uchihas all focus their Rinnegan eyes on him, they all raise their hand at once. Almighty push, they said. An enormous gravity wave came towards Naruto as he raised his hand. Almighty push, he said, mocking them, seeing that he didn't have to say the words. Upon doing so, his wave clashed with theirs. A violent onslaught of power. To their shock, they could not send him flying. In actuality, most of them started to sweat under the immense pressure. What? How is this possible? Obito said. Damn it, Itachi said as he tried to push more chakra, but they were being pushed back. As the attacks finally ceased. Is that all you have? Said Naruto. All of them rushed him at once as Naruto moved. Everyone then watched the proceedings that happened. The first few that came towards him were blown away, tossed away like mere child and children. The Tail was just standing there under the control of Minato and her brother, who had something connected to the back of their heads, as they were using the Senju bloodline to hold it still, with the Rinnegan as well. But this was still. How is he doing this? How is he this strong? Said Aizen as he couldn't believe it. Despite the forces that he possessed, he was still beating them back like it was nothing. As they started to get angry, Minato was speechless. She glanced up towards her daughter, who was looking directly at her, who was really angry. Judging by that look, she knew that she must be angry. Well, she had told her about her father and everything, but she didn't think her daughter would join Naruto. But yet her daughter looked like she had something else in her mind. Minato wasn't sure what it was. She heard Aizen curse, as all of their brethren were blown away once again. Despite the power that they possessed, despite their numbers, they were being overwhelmed. How was that possible? How were they being overwhelmed? Something like this shouldn't be happening. As the colliding forces clashed, laughter could be heard. What do we do? Several Konoha ninja asked Minato, who was silent as he didn't know what to do either. This battle was above his pay grade. Powers were being released, forces that Minato was never really seen before. Massive wood constructs erupted as Naruto summoned a massive Buddha statue that came down and trampled the earth. It was then that Minato noticed something. Despite everything, he was not killing a single one of them. He was either incapacitating or wounding them. A wound that can be healed, but he was not killing them. Minato was confused by that, if this really was a real war. He was not fighting to kill. So he was up to something then, which Minato wasn't exactly sure what that was. As the battle raged on until Naruto extended his hands as Uchihas were sent flying. I must say, it's a bit of an improvement, said Naruto. But I am a completely different being from what you people are. Can't you see that? The Tail roared as Naruto shot towards it. As Aizen, who was totally pissed off at everything, "No!" said Minato. But he gave the beast an order. It opened its mouth and shot a beam directly towards Naruto, but their people was right behind it. He got jumpy, seeing the beam coming and knowing that if he moved they would all die. Naruto spread his arms as the beam connected with him. It stopped in mid-air forcefully, as he did not let a single power pass. Once he was done, he stood there, smoke whipping off his body, but yet he was unharmed. As Naruto merely smiled, he then flashed right above the Tails and gripped Aizen by the throat. I must applaud your efforts, but let me remind you again. I have the Tails inside of me. All of its power sealed away for a couple of years now, which just kept on growing and adding to my own. I have your dear mother Kaguya from a different time sealed inside of me. Her power is basically unlimited. I can never feel an end to her chakra, yet she's inside of me. I had the previous power of the Kyuubi that keep on refilling me, said Naruto. Do I have to go on? I absorb thousands from my own planets. I I'm out of your league, said Naruto. But I need the warm-up to show that there is something for me to actually look forward to. What? Look forward to? Your mother. It's about time you summon her, right? Said Naruto. Let me do it for you. He literally pulled him off the thing and tossed him. Mikoto raised her an almighty push. But Naruto did the same thing as she was overwhelmed, as her body was blown away. Luckily though, her brother, who had caught himself, caught her. Damn it, he cursed. As Naruto turned to face him, 10 plus 10. I guess that is 20. He then sucked the 10 tails inside of himself. To their shock, he absorbed it all. His entire body went white, forcing everyone to shield their eyes. What the hell is going on now? As people wonder what was going on, unaware of the whole thing taking place. As an enormous amount of chakra started to be pulled forward. That chakra was being pulled forward as a seal that Hagoromo Susuke had created so long ago was completely shattered, allowing space and time itself to be ripped open. The woman herself, Kaguya Susuke, appeared. The Uchihas that were severely beaten and broken all rose up from the ground, as they were in pain, but they gripped their wounds as they started to march or even crawl over to where the others were. She's here, said Mikoto. Mother, said Zetsu, as he looked at his mother. All of them seeming to forget one big thing, something that was happening behind them right now. Well, behind Kaguya to be exact. Kaguya Ususuke felt the air on her skin, the fresh air. She was finally back. She had returned, and here to rule over her followers. But it was Zetsu that saw. Mother, watch out, he said! But it was too late as a hand shoved through her back, tearing through her chest. She heard a voice whisper in her ear. You're just as beautiful as the last time I met you, but unfortunately, this is not your show. It is mine. Kaguya screamed as her entire being was being ripped apart. She tried to fight it, but this overwhelming pressure was just far exceeding her strength. She also felt a bit of her strength inside as well. She didn't know what it was. She barely had time as she was sucked. A massive explosion resonated through the area. Pure chakra, that is what it was. As it sent every Uchiha, every people, down to their knees. What's going on? Asked Kushina. Your son is becoming something beyond what I ever expected, said Katsumi, as Naruto was becoming a lot more stronger right in front of her eyes. Not only did he got the 10 kills once again, he also got Kaguya as well. Absorbing those two adding on to his already additional power. As she licked her lips, that was just something amazing, she thought. The others could not see what was going on down there. The light finally cleared away, and they saw him standing there. Now that's what I'm talking about, he said. As Naruto was different. He was wearing white pants with Megatama markings running down it. A torrent sound could be heard as Naruto ripped off the shirt. He didn't really like to wear shirt all that much. As it exposed his skin, it had a more grayish look, which he didn't like, so he started returning it back to normal, just like what happened when he first absorbed the 10 tails. The horns on top of his head slowly retreated back inside his head, but the hair color, he figured that he needed a new look. His hair was white as snow. He looked down in his palms as he had a Renny Sharingan in his left palm and a Byakugan in his right. His eyes were still showing the Renny Sharingan, but the Megatamas had doubled, and there was a Byakugan in his forehead. So much eyes, what am I? Said Naruto, as he clenched his hand, and the two eyes were gone. It wasn't that the power was gone, he was just not liking the look. As 3 extra Megatamas appear in 2 of his eyes, as there were a lot of them. The Byakugan seemed to have fused in the one in his forehead, as his eyes were just glistening with pure, raw power. As Naruto landed on the ground, everyone was looking at him. What have you done? Said Zetsu. All this planning, all this... Be quiet, said Naruto. Zetsu's mouth was instantly shut, Not by his own will though. Naruto forcefully shut it. I have become something beyond my even own comprehension. Come here, said Naruto. Zetsu was lifted off the ground. Let's see, as Naruto clenched his fists. Zetsu screamed, but it came out as a mumble, as his body started to crack before it exploded. Now this is a power I was always meant to have, said Naruto. He felt a lot more stronger than what he used to be, and he was already ridiculously strong. Now time to get rid of some oppositions. As Naruto pointed his finger towards Aizen, a beam shot through his head. Mikato's eyes went wide, as her brother dropped dead instantly. But his body did not stay. Naruto inhaled as his power was sucked into him, his body turned to dust. As Naruto walked past her, her body was paralyzed in fear. So was everyone else as he walked. The feeling that he gave off, it was like death itself. If they moved, they would die. Minato, on the other hand, tried to get to his feet, but his whole body was shaking as he did. Ah, Minato, said Naruto. I've already spoken to Mother about this. She doesn't mind me killing you. Well, she didn't say anything about it. Besides, you will stand against me as much as you can. You hate me, said Naruto. I can see it in your eyes. A lot of you here hate me, but it doesn't really matter, said Naruto. I am something far above you to hate. Hate me or love me, it doesn't really matter. Only thing is that you fear me. My power is something that you all cannot even manage to think what it is. I am beyond your level of comprehension. I have truly become a god of this world, said Naruto. Minato threw his kunai as it broke when it made contact with Naruto. Do you really think a god will feel pain from a toy? Bow, said Naruto. His knees smashed into the ground. As Naruto stood in front of him and stooped down. No, please, don't kill him. He turned as he saw Mito begging him not to kill her father. As Naruto stooped down in front of him. As he looked into Minato's eyes, Minato looking back at him with anger. You really hate me, don't you? Minato gritted his teeth. The pressure was too much. He could barely open his mouth. You know what? I changed my mind. I won't kill you. What? As Katsumi came floating down. What do you mean you won't kill him? Think about this, said Naruto, allowing him to suffer in his self-loathing. I mean, this war is over, said Naruto. Everyone's gonna go back home now. But there will be a change in the entire elemental nation. And who gave you the right to make that change? Naruto turned as he looked towards the Raikage. Are you serious right now? Said Naruto. Didn't you just witness what just happened? I mean, you're joking, right? The Raikage clenched his fist. With my dying breath, I will... Naruto raised his hand and squeezed. The man's entire bones were crushed. His neck snapped, his arms twisted. His body dropped in a pile of blood and mess. I guess Kumo is gonna need another Raikage. How about you two, said Naruto. Do you want to fight me as well? The Tishikage and Yagura remained silent as hell, as they were sure that they would die the moment they say a word. What about Minato, said Katsumi. Mito has been a really sweet sister to me, said Naruto. I hate to kill her father just like that. And while I hate him, I'm sure that a part of Kushina wouldn't want to see him dead either. But she will enjoy hating him for all that he's done to her. And also, I know the fitting punishment for him, said Naruto. As he gripped Minato's skull, the man screamed as Naruto removed his hand. Minato could easily breathe right now. Something was different. What did you do? I took away your sense of chakra. Your ability to sense it, your ability to feel it. Everything regarding chakra. You're nothing but a plain human right now. Worse than a civilian. Minato realized he could not feel anything. Night-night, said Naruto as he tapped him on the forehead. As he fell asleep. Now everyone, said Naruto. I'm sure that you can all see who's in charge right now, but... Well, I'll visit your villages one by one. There's a new world order. Well, your world belongs to me, said Naruto. Unlike the previous one, though. I won't destroy this one. Uchihas! I've absorbed your mother. And I've become Kaguya in a sense, said Naruto. Well, I was her from the beginning because I had absorbed her for my time, but you guys would know what I'm talking about. Now I'm in control of your clan. I am the leader. Whatever you want to call me. I have spared all of your life because you will be needed. In the Uchiha, power is supposed to be respected, and none of you come close to what I am. I've shown you that by defeating you all. He let down Kushina and the others. Mom, said Sahara. Daughter. As Minato had tears in her eyes as she just lost her brother. Sorry. He would have fought me with everything that he got. You could have done the same thing. Taken away his chakra. You didn't have to kill him. He was my brother, she said. You're right, said Naruto. Oh, that's another perk of being a god, said Naruto. He placed his hand on the head of Aisuna. The wound healed instantly. Aisuna jumped up. Minato looked at him with shock. She knew that she could perform the Ren Rebirth, but at the cost. But yet Naruto barely looked fatigued or anything. He looked completely fine. What happened, Aisuna said, looking around. I brought you back at my mercy. But with a seal on your chakra, said Naruto. I haven't fully taken away yet. You prove yourself to be a good follower of Kaguya. If you prove yourself to be a good follower of mine, I will grant you access of your chakra. What? You expect me to— Brother! Minato yelled at him. Be quiet. What? Are you really— He realized the other Uchihas were quiet as well. What's going on? Brother, just calm down, she said. He just completely destroyed the Raikage with a wave of his hand. He has control over all chakra. Going against him would all be annihilated. And I'm not even the biggest threat, said Naruto. What? Said Minato. Yes. I can sense it now, said Naruto. There's another Osusuke. He's in some strange dimension, but he's close. I'm surprised one is close to this planet. More Osusukes are there, I'm sure. That they will sense my power soon enough and they will come. But that is why I have you guys. You guys will become my personal army for me to ransack the home of the Osusukes and take control. What's the end game here? I'm going after the main god, said Naruto. The main god? Aisuna said. Yeah. His name is Shibai. He was able to discard his body because he transcended to a different form of godlyhood. And I'm going after him. That is why I need your all help. As I am right now, he would annihilate me. The group was shocked by that. Despite his strength, he was saying that. Alright everyone, pack up and go home. If one of you threw another kunai or punch or anything that seemed to be an act of war, I will burn your entire existence out of reality. Now leave, said Naruto. Seeing what he just did, people start to actually leave. His power was too frightening for them to do anything, as he became the deterrent of the shinobi world, something that none of them could face or come to even slowly approach in power. Time skip. A week later, everyone had returned home. The war had been put to a stop. The deaths had been buried. But still, the world was in a state of panic. They did not jump out of their skin every second, but they knew that someone out there had the power to just annihilate their entire village. Naruto allowed the girls to go home. Kushina refused to speak to Minato as she told her son and daughter everything. They were pissed off at Minato when they heard, as the man was left in a state of depression here and that. He was still technically the Hokage of Konoha, but he didn't really have any more say because Minato was powerless. Sakura got her parents back, as Jiraiya and her mother has been missing since the start of the war, but Naruto had rescued them. With Minato no powerless, he wanted them to take control of Konoha. And what could they really say about that? Konoha needed a strong leader right now, especially in this state because Minato was a wreck. But Naruto was still something above everyone to even comprehend, and that was a problem. But no one would dare say anything about it or do anything about it because they could not. In the massive floating castle, everything was going perfect for Naruto. There was another journey. The journey of the Otsutsuki clan, which was a lot more dangerous than Earth. But the thing that he was worrying about was Shibai. But Naruto was gonna absorb all the other Otsutsukis. Shibai became the perfect being by absorbing the chakra fruits from planet for a long while. As that was the Otsutsuki's main thing, become perfect, which Naruto intended to do. And he could not have someone out there that is so much powerful than him. So he was gonna absorb all Otsutsuki until he reached Shibai. And then he was gonna take his power as well. And transcend almost everything. Time, space, reality itself. Perhaps it was because he absorbed 2 Kaguyas now, but he got hungry for power. And he couldn't stop himself. But there was still time. He had 3 wonderful girls at his side. Hanabi, she'd come to terms with everything. Sahara loved him same way, and not to mention he spared her mother. Katsumi loved him through and through. As everything was going well, it was then that Naruto sensed it before it could happen. A rift in space and time just ripped open. Stepping out of it was him. With his newfound power, he could sense other beings' power, so how was this possible? This thing in front of him, himself. The power was beyond. He couldn't comprehend it. What are you? My name is Naruto as well. And I am from a different story. Story? What are you talking about? As Mage Naruto raised his hand and shot something inside of Naruto's head. What was that? Information. I will be back soon. There's only a small percentage left. And then it will begin. He then blinked out of reality. As Naruto rubbed his head. What the hell was that? As tons of information were downloaded directly into his mind. What the hell? He then glanced up towards the heavens. Anime King? But guys, let me end subscribe right here, and yes, that's it guys. It seems like damn it Mage Naruto was able to delude me once again. But I'm still hunting after him. He keeps on running away. He's been up to something, though he has been missing for some time now. But I'll find him. Wonder what he's planning. He really wants me dead. Well, screw him. This story is now over, guys. I just want to say thank you again for sticking through. And yeah, it's been amazing, guys. So without further ado, I'll see you guys soon. Peace.